Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to see Salesforce Agent API. In order to access Salesforce Agentforce Agents, we can make use of Salesforce Agent API. The first thing in order to access Salesforce Agent API is we can make use of client credentials connected app. Go to Salesforce setup, create a connected app, enable OAuth settings. So this should be selected. In the callback URL, use https colon /login.salesforce.com. In the selected OAuth scopes, select Access Chatbot Services, access the Salesforce API platform, manage user data via APIs, and also perform requests at any time in order to get the refresh token and offline access. So make sure the selected OAuth scopes include all these. Next, deselect require proof key for code exchange, extension for support authorization flows, require secret for web server flows, and also the require secret for refresh token flow. So make sure all these are deselected. Next, enable client credentials flow and issue JSON web token JWT based access tokens for name users. Make sure these are all enabled in your connected app. In order to select the run as user, the user should have API only permission. Once the connected app is created, click the manage button, click edit policies and select run as users in the client credential flows section. When you do this, make sure the user you are selecting have API only permission in their profile. If this is not there, your connected app won't work and we cannot generate the access token. So make sure the user have API only permission. If you create an app with the user who is not having API only permission, and then if you try to edit the app and then if you try to select the user, it won't work. You have to create the connected app from the scratch again so that you can select the right user with API only permission on the profile. Next, in Salesforce setup, we have to go to agents. We have to select the agent. Once you select the agent, you can click the add button under connections tab. Here you have to select API. Here you have to select the connected app which you created, and here you have to give the integration name. So this is like a label. You can give any name for your reference. Once it is done, it will link your connected app to your Agentforce agent. In order to test it, make sure your Agentforce agent is active. So now the configuration is done. Now we have to first generate the access token. Next, we have to create a session ID. Next, we can send a message to our Agentforce agent. And finally, once the conversation is done, you can end the session by doing a delete request. Let's see this in action. The first step is you have to do a post request to your Salesforce my domain URL /services/OR2/token. Here in the body, you have to pass the client ID, client secret, which will be your consumer key and consumer secret from your client credentials connected app. In the grant type, we have to pass client credentials. Okay. In the header, you have to pass content type as application /x www form URL encoded. So this should be your header and this should be your body. You have to do a post request. So here you will get the access token and also you will get the API instance URL. Using a simple script, I am storing the access token and API URL inside these two global variables. Next step is we have to create a session. Once you create a session, you will get the session ID so that you can send a message, and also finally you will be able to end the session. In order to create a session, you have to make use of the instance URL slash Einstein slash AI agent AI-agent slash v1 slash agents slash the 18-digit ID of your Agentforce agent slash sessions. Once you open your Agentforce agent, you will be able to see the 18-digit ID here. So you have to make use of this 18-digit ID. In the external session key, you have to pass a UUID. In order to generate the UUID, you can make use of this sample code. In Salesforce, we have UUID class. In this UUID class, you can make use of random UUID method so that you will be able to generate UUID value, using which you can pass it to the external session key. Let's run this code so that we will get the UUID. So this will be my UUID. So I am passing the body as external session key. In the instance configuration, I'm passing my domain URL, streaming capabilities, chunk types, I'm using text. In the header, I am passing the content type as application or JSON, authorization as bearer space the access token which we got it in the first post request. So I'm going to send the request. I'm able to get the session ID successfully. In order to store this session ID in a global variable, I'm using this script which will store the session ID in Agentforce session ID variable. Okay, so session is also done. Now I have to send a message to the Agentforce agent. For that, you have to make a post request to the instance URL slash Einstein slash AI space agent slash v1 slash sessions slash the session ID which you got it from the previous post request slash messages. If you send a post request to this, it will send a request to Agentforce agent, and then it will get the response back. So I was able to send a message opportunity booking. I'm using the sequence ID as 2. It is saying sure, I can help with that. Let's start by finding your contact record. Could you please provide your email address? For that, in order to send a message back to Agentforce agent, increase the sequence ID, and I'm going to say my email address is test contact. It is a dummy value, but already there is a contact with this email ID, so it should say I found your contact. Let's see. Yeah, it is processing it in Agentforce Agent API. Okay, so now I got the response back. Great, I found your contact. Now could you please provide your start date for your products you are interested in? So this is how we can have the conversation synchronously with our Agentforce agent. So we created an access token, we created a session, we are able to send a message. Now I'm going to end the session. Assume that all the conversation back and forth between Agentforce agent and the user are done. Now I have to close the session so that it will end the session to me. In order to end the session, you have to do a delete request to your instance URL, API instance URL slash Einstein slash AI agent slash v1 slash sessions slash the Agentforce session ID which we got it from create session post request. Again, we are making use of the API instance URL in order to create a session, and also in order to send a message, and also in order to end the session. In the header, pass x hyphen session hyphen end hyphen reason as user request, because as an user I wanted to end the session. Authorization, I'm sending it as bearer space the access token, which we got it from the first access token request. So now if I click, if I send it, okay, I was able to successfully end the session. If you wanted to see the conversation back and forth what you had in the Salesforce, you have to go to the agent studio builder, go to all sessions in the event logs. So this is the latest one, so you should be able to see all the conversation. So I sent opportunity booking, and also I sent this is my email address. So back and forth whatever conversation I had with the Agentforce agent, I should be able to see it in the event logs. In order to see the event logs, make sure you are enabling enrich event logs with the conversation data. Please check the video description. In the video description, I have given my blog post. From the blog post, you should be able to get the sample payload, which we were discussing it on the video. And also, if you want to generate the UUID, you can make use of the sample Apex code. Even for this particular UUID, I have given the sample code. And also, if you wanted to learn more about it, you can use this particular blog post, and then you can learn more about Salesforce Apex UUID class. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching.